Hello, and thank you for attending my virtual poster on compassion beliefs and COVID behaviors. So compassion is an emotion that motivates us to help those who are suffering. And in the case of the current pandemic, compassion can motivate behaviors such as caring for those who are ill, supporting local businesses, offering social support, and donating handmade masks or food. So, should we just tell everybody to be more compassionate all the time? There may be a potential snag with that idea. And that's the fact that psychology research supports the idea that compassion is limited. The limits of compassion can be seen in two phenomena, compassion fatigue and compassion fade. Compassion fatigue is the idea that our compassion response weakens after repeated exposure to suffering. Compassion fade is the idea that we feel less compassion as the number of people suffering increases. And COVID-19 really tests these limits of compassion. The ongoing nature of COVID-19 can bring about compassion fatigue, and the scale of COVID-19 may lead to compassion fade. Importantly, though, people's beliefs about compassion may affect how compassion operates. In other words, people may differ in regards to whether they believe compassion is limited or not. Based on other research examining how mindsets can shape our experiences, we wanted to examine whether believing compassion be unlimited can buffer against compassion fatigue and increase capacity for compassion. So in our first study, participants were randomly assigned to one of three conditions: one where they wrote about an experience where their compassion was limited, one where they felt their compassion was unlimited, and one where they simply wrote about their morning routine. Participants then completed the moral expansiveness scale, which measures people's feelings of moral concern for 30 entities, ranging from close entities such as your family to distant entities such as animals. Participants who wrote about an experience with unlimited compassion reported higher moral expansiveness, and this increase in moral expansiveness was mediated by increased beliefs that compassion is unlimited. In our second study, participants were randomly assigned to read one of three articles, one suggesting compassion is limited, one suggesting it is unlimited, or one about the history of psychology. Following this, all participants saw 9 images one by one. Each image depicted suffering, and participants rated their feelings of compassion and exhaustion after each image. Participants in the unlimited condition felt more compassion than those in the limited condition. Moreover, only participants in the limited condition reported feeling more exhaustion over time. So the question remains, how do beliefs about compassion affect attitudes and behaviors relevant to COVID? In one preliminary investigation, we ran a correlational study examining the effects of beliefs about compassion. In particular, we looked at two outcomes: people's support for COVID-19 policies, some of which were intended to help entities that typically garner less moral concern, such as animals or prisoners. In addition, we looked at people's self-reported COVID-relevant behaviors, which were combined into a single composite. Believing compassion to be unlimited predicted greater COVID behaviors and marginally predicted greater support for the COVID policies. And in a regression with many relevant predictors, people's compassion beliefs remained a significant predictor of COVID-relevant behaviors. So to summarize, people vary in their beliefs about compassion as limited or unlimited, but those beliefs are malleable. We can change them with an experimental manipulation. Believing compassion is unlimited increases moral expansiveness and buffers against compassion fatigue. And finally, there's preliminary evidence that believing compassion to be unlimited can sustain COVID-relevant behaviors. So in conclusion, compassion is needed for COVID, but the nature of COVID really tests the limits of compassion. Our research suggests that our beliefs about compassion may allow it to behave in a more unlimited fashion and sustain COVID-relevant behaviors. Emphasizing risks of compassion fatigue may run the risk of fueling beliefs that result in harmful self-fulfilling prophecies. With that, I'd like to say thank you to my collaborator, Julia Lee, and to the conference organizers. Thank you.